Hello, everyone. Welcome to our event this day. It is my privilege to welcome you today. My name is Dr. Jesus San Pedro. I am the program director for the Master of Arts in Leadership and assistant professor here at Mid-America Christian University. And on behalf of the School of Business Leadership, I'm honored to welcome you and to be your host for the day. And I'm here on campus in Oklahoma City. And well, I've been here for 3 years, but I've been part of the MACU community and family for more than 13 years now. And I'm here honestly enabling that successful connections happen between significant content, great faculty, and a diverse base of students, both graduate and of course our undergraduates as well. And so that everybody can be a great, I would say, pursuers and fulfillers of God's calling in their lives and in their careers. Today, I have the honor to be part of this, and together with Dr. Kelly Resemi, who is a program director for the MBA program here at Mid-America. And I'm really honored to have her join. And welcome and thank you also, Kelly, for being here. Kelly definitely brings not only an extensive scope of knowledge and wisdom, but also charm to the School of Business. And thank you so much for being part of this. We're honored. Today, we have the opportunity and the blessing to begin with this Leadership Connection webinar series. Leadership Connection is basically an idea and an initiative, and it's based on a monthly space for all of us to interact and hear people, local, national, international leaders, join hands and get with guest speakers together. So also students, faculty, alumni, staff, and leaders from the community are able to connect and are able to learn and engage in transformative conversations around leadership topics. And we're passionate about doing that here at MACU. And we wanted to create this space, and it's going to be now, from now on, a monthly opportunity for all of you and those of you who you would like to invite to join us. It serves as well as an updating and upgrading opportunity for participants on the latest and most relevant topics and connects them around what makes MACU unique in the way we approach leadership from a servant leadership perspective and a biblical and academic integration of things. So I want to highlight briefly that we have this opportunity online, so it's easier for everybody, more convenient. And today we have people from many nations, from many of the states here in the US, and also local people joining us. And welcome to everyone who is here. We're honored to have you. The event is gonna be about an hour, and we hope that not only you are able to join today, but also in every one of the events that we're gonna have in the following months. It's gonna take place the third Thursday of each month, and you should find information in the website that we'll provide throughout the webinar. At the same time, I want to mention that we want to make it interactive and dynamic, and we want you to be part of this. We're going to have a section after the speaker, our guest speaker for the day, shares of Q&A. If you have any questions or things that you want to comment or you want him to clarify or expand on what he mentioned, feel free at the end to do so. So we want to make it fun, interactive, and dynamic. And just basically feel that this is your space. Be part of it and share it with the people that you want. And if you like this, make sure the next time you don't only come on your own, but you come with people and you can put together a watch party and share it. And it's also, even if you stay at the very end of each one of these events, you're going to be participating in the opportunity to receive a special gift from us to one of the participants. So without further comment, I want to introduce our guest speaker today, Dr. Rodrigo Zarate. Before I do that, I want to make sure that I mention something important, and it's how we, as a Mid-America Christian University, connect our mission that is related to creating, collaborating, and innovating to solve local and global problems for the glory of God through Jesus Christ and the good of society. Part of that mission, and I would highlight today that the topic that we're about to address is related to the fact that we can collaborate. Collaborate means sharing with the people that is near us, learning how to grow in the way we interact with them. And I'm sure the topic of today is going to lead us in that direction. The topic that we're going to be today sharing is about the value of MBTI, the Myers-Briggs Type Inventory in leadership, how your personality helps to improve your leadership behavior. And it's going to be by Dr. Rodrigo Zarate. I want to introduce him. He's a very special friend. For a long time, we've interacted in academic endeavors. And I'm honored to have him here. Thanks, Dr. Rodrigo, for being here. And Dr. Zarate is currently a research professor and the program director for the Doctor of Business Administration, DBA, at CESA, the College of Higher Studies and Administration in Bogota, Colombia, where he is right now. And he holds a doctorate in strategic leadership and a master's in business administration from Regent University. And he's an industrial engineer from La Universidad de América de Colombia. And he's, and in connection with what he's going to be addressing today, he's a certified coach using the instruments in personality identification, which is MBTI, and emotional intelligence, EQI 2.0. And he has been selected among the 100 leaders of society, the people who built a new Colombia in the year of 2015 by the Manager magazine in Colombia. And he's been awarded a very important and special award for excellence in teaching in 2011 for Latin America from the ACBSP institution that certifies MBAs and business schools around the world. So we're honored to have you, Rodrigo, and I know you've had an extensive work experience. I won't go into detail of all of that in many diverse corporations and diverse entities around the world. You've also shared some consulting and some experience, more than 15 years as a professor and in the organizational leadership world. So welcome and thank you so much once again for being here with us today. And I'm sure we're gonna get great interaction. And remember, at the end, we can ask him a few questions. Welcome, Dr. Zarate.
Well, thank you, Dr. San Pedro. As Dr. San Pedro said, I'm in Bogota, Colombia. I finished my degrees in Regent University and came back. That happens like 14 years ago. And since then, I've been involved with universities. I am a professor, I am a researcher, and also my curiosity took me to research or to investigate about what is, I don't know how to explain it, let me try. What is behind leadership? What that means is we go to a conference about leadership and you will get some behaviors, practices, characteristics a good, effective leader has. And you start putting that in practice, you know, the behavior, the characteristic, you know, you have to motivate your employees, you have to be outgoing, you have to, you know, a lot of have tos. And, but what I have seen is that for most of us, some things are very easy to just putting in practice, but for others, or for some of us, some of those behaviors are difficult to put in practice. You know? Then we go to this conference and hear that a good leader does this and this and this, and you just take notes. And when you're at your office, you start thinking, okay, I can do this, but how can I do this? Then that took me to study what is behind that, what motivates us, or why for some of us is it easy or difficult to do something, to behave the way the best leaders, the effective leaders behave. Then I certified myself in the MBTI, to use the MBTI. I also certified myself in the, emotional intelligence. And right now I am doing some research in how, putting some statistics behind that. Then I am correlating personality, MBTI, with leadership practices. I already did the emotional intelligence with leadership practices, the emotional intelligence and leadership practices. If there is some difference between a man and woman, I am writing about how happiness influences our leadership style. I am also writing about how spirituality influences our leadership style. For this conference, let me screen here. For this conference, I am going to share with you how the MBTI influences or impacts our leadership style. I use the MBTI and the Leadership Practices Inventory from Coases and Posner. And this is the agenda for today. I know that I have 25 minutes. That's why I'm talking a little bit faster, but this is what I'm going to try to accomplish. I mean, to transfer to you. I'm going to talk about the two concepts, the MBTI and the LPI, how the Myers-Briggs, the MBTI influences leadership practices, how personality, or what personality types struggle when we are leading, the leadership practices, strengths of personality types, and how to improve your leadership practices using the MBTI. That fifth point is the conclusion, basically. I want to start with, I'm not going to read everything that you see in your screen, because you have it there. And I want just to explain a little bit some points. You know that the MBTI is well known. It's one of the most known psychological self-report questionnaire. We have the MBTI, the DISC, the Kaiser, and others, but the most common is the MBTI. It was relied on Carl Jung, seminal ideas of psychological types. And today, the MBTI is used to provide or for practical purposes. You can see some examples, credit scores predictions. You have the citation there, RTML 2021, analysis of construction workers, safety behavior, validation of artificial intelligence techniques, prediction of judging perceiving behaviors in an online social forum. This is just to let you know that the MBTI is used in different areas, not only in leadership. What I'm trying to do is to use it in leadership. Basically, there are two approaches to personality, the trait-based approach and the type-based approach. You have heard about the Big Five questionnaire, which is the best known measurement instrument that relied on the trait-based approach. And the MBTI is the best known measurement tool that relied on the type-based approach. As every single tool questionnaire instrument in the world, the MBTI has been criticized. And basically is that the trait-based approach theorists, they said that it is difficult to classify. You cannot classify personality dichotomously. And despite this, the MBTI researchers have shown different studies with acceptable indexes of reliability and validity. Then that's why I use the MBTI. The MBTI has 4 dichotomies. The first one is the extraversion, introversion. I'm doing a small summary about both instruments. What I did is using both instruments and statistically using the confirmatory analysis, factorial analysis, confirmatory factorial analysis, and the structural equation modeling to understand a little bit the correlation. And also we did the Spearman correlation, and that's what I'm going to show you later. But I want to explain a little bit what the MBTI and the LPI are, their concept behind them, and what both instruments are all about. Then the MBTI was developed by basically Catherine and Isabel Briggs, Catherine Briggs and Isabel Briggs Myers, mom and daughter. And it has 4 pairs of letters there as a result. And this is the 4 dichotomies. They call it dichotomies. The first dichotomy is extraversion, introversion. This is about how you or where you focus your energy and how you recharge yourself of energy. And extroverts, they focus their energy outward. Introverts, they focus their energy inward. And extroverts, they focus on people, in things, and introverts are more interested in the inside world of thoughts and ideas. Intuition and sensing it refers to what kind of information do people like and trust. Sensing, sensitive people, they like information and they trust information that comes through their 5 senses. And intuitives, they like and trust information that has some meaning and patterns, okay? Feeling and thinking is the way the process to make decisions. While feelers, they make decisions based on, with a person-centered, values-based process. And thinkers, they make their decisions based on impersonal, objective logic. The last one is judgment and perceiving. It is the way we orient ourselves to the external world. People who prefer judgment want the external world to be organized and orderly. They are so, they have an agenda in their heads, and they put an agenda in everything, their lives, everything. And people who prefer perceiving, they seek to experience the world, not to organize it, okay? This is the MBTI, just to summarize. When you combine the 4 dichotomies among them, you have 16 types of personalities. They are here, they are in any order, but what Catherine and Isabel and the people who study the MBTI says is that our personality is like a room where you can rest. Then if you find a job that has this if your personality, my MBTI is ISTJ. And if I find a job that requires this personality, I will be just fine. But if I find a job that requires this personality, let me just change my mouse here, ISFJ, you can see that one letter change. It's not that I cannot perform well in this job, but what it means is that I will experience a little stress, okay? Imagine when I have this personality and I am in a job that requires this personality, completely opposite. I will experience more stress. Then I'm not going to stop here, but let me tell you about the LPI, Leadership Practices Inventory. Gene Cousins and Gary Posner, they start searching or researching about leadership since the 80s, and they identify 5 main practices, leadership practices that are common in effective leaders, okay? And those 5 practices are challenging the process, which basically is innovation. Good leaders, effective leaders innovate. They are all constantly questioning the status quo, questioning the normal, the establishment. Second, they inspire a shared vision. They assure themselves that everybody in the organization knows the vision of the organization. Third, they enable others to act. They empower followers. They foster collaboration and delegation. Four, they model the way. They serve as an example. And fifth, they encourage the heart. They public and private give recognition of individual and group achievement by the leader. And these are the 5 leadership practices. Now, what I did was using these 2 instruments, MBTI and LPI. Because when you observe leaders, you can see that there is something behind them that makes them act the way they act. But I wanted, as a researcher, I wanted to have some, not only theoretical, but also statistical support to say that effectively leadership, I mean, personality, for some personality types, is easier to behave in certain leadership practices, okay? This is some attempts other authors did about this relationship between personality and leadership. Spark into 2021 provides some evidence about the relationship between extraversion and emergent leadership, as extroverts are more likely than introverts to emerge as leaders, okay? Luong, 2021, also compared extroverts and introverts and the challenges they face, suggesting that personality matters when leading. And Garland, in 2021, used the MBTI to classify people in leadership positions and found that intuitive leaders are more visionaries than sensitive leaders. I took some of the more relevant studies that other authors have done before. And the first picture graphic figure I want to show you is the Spearman correlation, because this is what tells us where in the leadership practices and personality types correlate, okay? As I mentioned before, doing the confirmatory factorial analysis and the structural equation modeling, all the fit indexes were just fine. Then we can say that they both fit and we can do this measurement, okay? If you observe here, well, P1, P2, P3, P4 is extroversion, introversion, sensitive, intuitive, feeling, thinking, and judgment, perception. And here, L1, L2, L3, L4, and L5 are the 5 leadership practices. And as you can see, I'm going to concentrate in the correlations. And you can see that P1, which is extroversion, introversion, correlates with L5, which is encouraging the heart, and with L2, which is inspiring a shared vision. And the correlation is low and negative. I'm going to explain this later. In the next slide, I will explain this. P2, which is sensitive, is sensing and intuition, it correlates with L2, which is inspiring a shared vision, and with L1, which is challenging the process. P3, which is thinking and feeling, it doesn't correlate with anything, with any leadership practice. And P4, which is judgment and perceiving, it correlates with L5, which is encouraging the heart, and with L2 and L1. L2 inspiring a shared vision, and L1, which is challenging the process. Now, I believe that you couldn't get and memorize everything I just said, but here you can see it in two ways. The first one is this graphic, the one with the different colors, and here is the correlations we found. And here in this table, you can see the type: extroverts, intuitives, and perceivers. For these types, what we found, I am going to just down the information I just gave you in this slide to this slide. Then for these types, these practices are automatic, natural. These types, extroverts, intuitives, perceivers, they don't have to put any effort to inspire. I mean, extroverts, they don't have to put that much effort to inspire a shared vision, to encouraging the heart, to motivate followers. For intuitives, they know how to challenge the processes. They know it's automatic for them, like natural, to inspire a shared vision. And perceivers, for them, it is easy to encourage the heart, to challenge the processes, and to inspire a shared vision. What this means is that it's not that for introverts, it will be difficult to inspire a shared vision or encouraging the heart. It's not that way. What I'm saying here is for these three types, what you see in front of them are behaviors that they do just in a natural way. It's easy for them because it's like they came with that behavior incorporated. They know how to do it. They don't need that much training to do this or to behave this way, to just express this leadership practice, okay? I am an introvert, I am sensitive, and I am judgment. I don't have any of this. Still, I can develop them. It's not that we, the other types, we cannot behave this way. Is that we have to. It's not that easy for us, but we can, and we have to develop those practices. It's more, it's not that as easy for them that for us. I mean, as an introvert, it's not easy for me, but I developed that. I developed that practice, that leadership practice. For example, I was the dean for another school. I had 54 professors in my faculty. I mean, assistant and full professors, and also adjunct professors. I had 207, and I had like 4,000 students when I was the dean of the School of Business or in another university here in Bogota, Colombia. And I learned how to encourage the heart of my professors. And I had to, you know, because that's one of the leadership practices. Now, what should we do then? The first thing is you have to understand your own behaviors. You have to look at yourself, like self-leadership, you know? You have to look at yourself and reflect on your own behaviors, how you are behaving. Second, be conscious about your personality type, that some behaviors are not easy because of your personality, but not easy doesn't mean that are impossible. What that means is that maybe you have to work a little bit harder than those who has the opposite personality than yours, and for them will be easier, but for you, you have to put a little bit more effort just to learn, just to get the habit, just to learn how to behave in that practice, or how to put or get that leadership practice. And improve your communication. Your communication is a key here, because if you want to be a leader, first you have to understand the first two, your behaviors, and be conscious about your personality type. But in any of the types of the MBTI, any of the types, the personality types, we need to improve our communication skills. If you are an extrovert, you need to improve your communication skills. If you are an introvert, you need to improve your communication skills. And about the MBTI, you have to learn that differences are good. We are not, God made us all different, and it's fine for different situations. The way you act, the way you behave is fine. And here is not about being other, but exploring and potentialize yourself to be a better leader. Understanding this, you can understand that's why it's not that easy for me to behave like a leader. And in that way, you can do something. And doing something is getting trained, you know? Start, as I said here, start doing something. Start, be conscious, and start observing the others, your opposites, the opposite types, and learn from them. And that's it, I think. I think it's like 20 or 25 minutes. I don't know, but thank you very much. I'm so open to answer any questions you have about the MBTI, the LPI, about this research, about other research, as I mentioned at the beginning of this conference.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarate. We highly appreciate it. And I think people will go out from here with, I mean, at least I learned something, and thank you for doing this research, because sometimes some of these tools are set apart and people study them separately. And so having the opportunity to think through not only our own personality, but also these tools and how they interact, they connect. It's a great benefit. Thank you so much for sharing that, I would say, result of what you've been putting together in such an interesting research. Well, we have an opportunity right now open for Q&A. If you have any questions that you would like, please submit it through the Q&A feature. And we have one already coming in. And I'm going to be sharing some of that. So we have Annette Pullen, who's also a faculty here, and thanks for sharing. So I'm wondering more about the statement of being able to develop more of the qualities in a personality type. So if you could mention something about, so how can we develop more qualities in a certain personality type? So I guess what she's mentioning has to do with the fact that you mentioned, well, maybe I'm an introvert, but I need to communicate more effusively about the vision and care about, or show caring to people. That doesn't come natural. So any comment on that?
And more of the quality in a personality type. Okay. Well, because of the time, just explaining the MBTI takes like 4 to 6 hours. It's not that quick, but I'm going to try to summarize the question. But understanding what your personality is, the behaviors. Remember that Carl Jung said, and also Catherine and Isabel, they said that our personality is a preference, is something that I prefer and that I learned. And when I learned that, it is like our hands. This is my preference, and this is my opposite. When you write with your hand, your natural hand, the one that you choose many years ago, it's easy, it's natural, it's automatic. When you try to write with your other hand, it's your opposite. Sometimes it's difficult, you feel like a dumb, you feel like, this is just so difficult. And that way is our personality. This is my preference, and this is my opposite. But talking about my hands, if I have an accident and I cannot use my right hand to write, and I start writing with my left hand, probably in 6 months, I will be able to write good. Okay, it will be, it will be okay. Everybody can read what I write with my left hand. The same happens with my personality. If you are introvert, I am an introvert, and I am here, like sometimes people say, no, you're not introvert. I learned, I developed my left hand, Then when you start practicing some behaviors of your opposite, your left hand, suddenly those behaviors start being part of yourself. For example, my right hand says, my personality says, for me it's difficult to motivate people, to say, hi, how are you? How are you doing? How's your family? Maybe hugging somebody. If you start training yourself, developing those behaviors, probably at the beginning you will be like, or people will feel that you are like fake or something like that. That happens at the beginning. But if you train yourself, start practicing those behaviors, probably in 6 months, you will be like, hi, how are you? How's your family? Are you doing well? Is your wife doing fine? Come, I want to give you a hug, And 6 months later, you will be developing very well, and you will be writing with your other hand very well, Then we have to first understand those behaviors that are difficult for me. Today, in the theory, that saying, that argument that I am not like that, I wasn't born that way, I cannot do that. You cannot say that anymore, because theorists they said that you can change anytime you want. Okay. Also, I'm sorry, I'm going to talk about the Bible right now. God asked us to transform our minds, and that is transforming our minds. And I'm talking about transforming our minds in the leadership area. And that's it. Is copying, for example, Dr. Jesus mentioned servant leadership at the beginning of the conference. And the best servant leader is Jesus Christ. And what about if I copy his behaviors, the way he behaved with people? We can copy that. We are called to be like Jesus. Then we can do it. We have to observe other leaders, those effective leaders, how they behave, and start trying to copy some of their behaviors. Those that for us are difficult. I am not saying I will make Rodrigo apart and I will create another Rodrigo. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is incorporating other behaviors that will help me to become a better leader. And that happens in personality. I don't know.
Great.
The question?
Great, thank you so much. Yes, I think it's pretty clear, and I highly appreciate it. And it gives us hope to all of us, because sometimes people think that, oh, this is my personality and I won't be able to do this and this. But what you're sharing with us is basically that there are certain practices that distinguish good leadership, and regardless of personality, we can pursue those. However, to some, it's going to, as you said, and I like the correlation that you shared about those three things. There are certain things that are more easily correlated and are easily expressed by certain personality types, but at the end, like, it's something related to the willingness of someone trying to go in that path. We have some other questions here. Kylie saying, how would you share this insight with your employer or future employer to secure a position that you think you'd be a great fit for? So it's basically how to use this into being more employable, I guess.
Okay. First, the MBTI cannot be used for hiding. I mean, in the process of hiding a person. Why? Because, as I mentioned, the right and the left hand, if an employer probably think that I need an extrovert, then I use the MBTI is not correct. Why? Because what I said, I am Rodrigo, I am an introvert, but I have developed my extrovert side, Then when I take the MBTI, it would say I, introvert, but I developed the extroversion. Now that employer will probably lose somebody with a high potential just because this employer decided to use the MBTI in the process of selecting persons, selecting an employee. That's why you shouldn't use the MBTI to hire somebody. The MBTI inside the organization is used for development, helping people to develop her own personality or to develop their opposite, okay? Of course, the best place I can be is in a position that requires an ISTJ like me, but in every single job, every single position, you not always perform all the time, 100% of the time, with your personality. Then what you have to be sure about is understanding the job position you're asking for, what that position demands in terms of behavior and everything. And because you cannot change, what you can do is showing your future employer that you have potential in many areas, you know, but you cannot ask the person at the beginning. Probably when you are inside the organization, you can show your employer your strengths because of your personality. Then you can just, negotiate with your employer. Hey, what about if I get that position instead of the position I am right now? Because I feel that, but it's a negotiation when you are inside and showing results. It's not, I am Rodrigo Zarate and I should be there. No, it doesn't happen that way. You should and you must show results, and then it's a negotiation. If you show results, you can go to your employer, to your boss and say, hey, I have been doing very well. I have achieved everything. And I think that I can do better in that other position. That's a negotiation. I've been doing well, but I can do better. Then your boss will buy that, because you are a good employee. You have shown results, and you are proposing me that you will get more results. I will negotiate. Okay.
Great, and thanks, Dr. Zarate, and I highly appreciate also your comment and the question from Kylie, based on the fact that I've seen there's a lot of organizations that I've seen they use the MBTI as, like, if you're gonna go into someone's office, at the door it says their personal, like, MBTI profile, and I've been even wondering how conscious and capable are some people not only to understand themselves and their own personality type, but also to interact with those who have a different one, and if they really know what it means that someone has a different profile. And so that goes along from our leadership development perspective, like, how can I help not only learning how to deal with myself first, but then how to deal with someone with another personality type, and how to help them develop those traits that will get them into a better position in terms of leadership development. So yeah. I think this, we could be talking about this for a long time. And well, we have like 2 more minutes for questions before we close. Dr. Zarate, Scott McMurray asks that he's curious, if you had to pick a single assessment among the big 5, which would it be, or MBTI and big 5? And how valuable is it to compare results on several different assessments in terms of understanding behavior adjustments? So in your experience, how has it been? Like, is there a preferred one? Does it complicate things or make things easier for people?
I would say that it is a personal decision. I use the Transformational Transactional Leadership Questionnaire, the MLQ. I use the Servant Leadership Questionnaire. Also, I use the Self-Leadership Questionnaire, and I use the Leadership Practices Inventory. I am certified with the DISC. I am certified with the MBTI. I know the Big 5. I know the Kaiser, another one. And I decided, I felt like they all gives you some good insights, good results. And it's about a personal decision in my position. You know, I can give you some theoretical approaches of every single one, but at the end, all are very good. They all are used in organizations, the MBTI, the DISC, the Big Five. Then it's probably the way you feel you can explain each of them and how you feel that if every one gives you a good results about what you are looking for.
Great, thank you so much. We have so many other questions here, but I'm not sure we're able to cover them. What I'll do, if it's okay with you, I can copy them and have them share with you, and then respond to each one of the persons that ask those questions and get back to them. One practical one that I saw here, Leslie is asking, is there an MBTI questionnaire available somewhere that I can get to use with our leaders, managers at work to help them identify their behavior? So is there any, because I know that there's a paid version, but is there any free version available? That's her question.
Yes, I can send you the links in English and Spanish, and they're good.
Okay, sounds great. Well, thank you.
The link to Dr. San Pedro, and he will have the information.
Great, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Zarate. We're honored to have had you with us today. I think when it comes to remembering where we get our energy from, how we process information, how we make decisions, how we orient ourselves to try to organize or enjoy the world outside of us, which is what the MBTI tries to compile, and then we connect with the MBTI, with the leadership practices inventory. It's always exciting to find good news, and that's what you have brought us today. Good news in terms of understanding the way God created us, and at the same time, all the things that we can do to grow in our leadership. And so I think your research is leading us in a way that inspires many to understand themselves, but also to thrive and become better leaders. And we appreciate it so much. And thanks for sharing, taking the time to be here. And we're honored to have had you, and for you to have taken the time for us to be here. MACU is honored to open up this leadership series with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It was so nice to see you again.
Thank you. Me too.
Yes, and before we close, in these 5 minutes that we have, I want to share with some of you something really quick before we finish, and want to remind you that the School of Business Leadership here at Mid-America Christian University is the one that is welcoming you, and we want you to see this as an opportunity for us to interact, not only a one-time event, but this is an open version of what we're doing. And what I wanted to share is briefly, for those of you who are connecting today for the first time with what we do here at MACU, to share with you that the Master of Arts in Leadership degree that we offer has, well, some good news, and I wanted to begin with the good news. It's related to the fact that we just added a new emphasis shared with the MBA on the communications side. So people can now have an emphasis or an area of concentration around communications, and together with the other ones related to business and to higher ed, public administration, and ministry, it becomes one of the fastest shortest programs. 30 academic hours can be completed as short as in 18 months, and 100% online. Next time, I want to share more about what our MBA programs has, and the wonderful things we're creating here with our hybrid possibilities in terms of learning. People who want to be on ground, people who want to be online, or some people that just want to be sometimes on ground, sometimes online. There are some options for that too. And we have a strong base for student support, reliable technology, and as a school, I believe we have been working hard to make sure that the experience of those who graduate from our program end up being relevant to what they need in the marketplace. And we're hearing so many great stories we're going to be sharing along the line. So our MBA program has been both the state's best among private universities. So we're honored to have Dr. Kelly Resamy with us, who's a program director, and we're honored to join hands in this initiative for many of you to grow and to share the word and help others grow. I would encourage each one of you to follow us, follow the university on social media, and begin using this hashtag that you can see at the very end. Hashtag MACU Leadership Connection. If there's something that you learned today that impacted you, that you liked, just use your social media, the one that you prefer, and just do it and share it, and we'll be honored to repost that. And thanks for being here. And before we leave, make sure that you go to the same website or the same link that we shared for you to register for today. And in the next couple of days, we'll be sharing about our next webinar, which is on September the 15th, the third Thursday of the month. And we're gonna have Dr. Fred Barber, who's the president of an organization called Response IA, an international market research firm. And he's gonna touch about, I mean, he's an expert, has been working a lot on the idea of how to handle data to navigate risk and uncertainty as a Christian leader. So it's going to be about data-driven leadership. It's going to help us in the process of decision-making and how do these data analytics connects with marketing, with strategic leadership decisions, and what happens when data is not enough. So we need to understand, on the one hand, risk, then fear, and faith. I like that equation. And he's going to help us certainly provide some insights. He serves in an organization that works in has offices in 4 different places around the world. And I'm sure we're going to be in a great position to grow around that topic. So make sure that you don't miss that opportunity that we're offering you, and share it with whoever you want. We're going to be sending out more information as time comes by. And thank you again for being here. We're honored to have had you here. And some of you have asked, is it going to be recorded? Am I going to be able to replay what we just saw today? And the answer is yes. And we're going to be having it. And all you have to do is go to www.macu.edu/leadership-connection. And you're going to be able to find not only the recordings of these ones, but also the information and the registration information for the future ones. Mid-America Christian University and the School of Business Leadership is honored to have had you here and to host you together with Dr. Kelly Resamy and the rest of our school team. And thank you again, Dr. Zarate, for being here, and looking forward to keeping on growing together as we seek for an expanded capacity for everybody's leadership. Have a great rest of your day to everyone.